To bridge the gap between the expectations and perceptions of a guest in a hospitality and tourism setting, it is a must to plan his/her experience carefully. A productive guest encounter is expected to yield optimum experience. With these, critical planning is very much important to properly design and ensure that the best experience is the only experience a guest will receive. Chapter 4: The Strategies for Quality Service in Tourism and Hospitality. In planning the guest experience, strategies are employed to be able to deliver processes for each issue that is needed to be resolved by the management. Strategies are plans that are designed to achieve a specific aim of the company. It usually involves setting goals, planning actions to achieve such goals, and maximizing resources to achieve the goals. With strategies, resources become optimized, productivity is maximized, and processes are simplified. Now, with guests at the center, the experience would be better than initially planned. Learning objectives. At the end of this chapter, the students should be able to understand the concept of strategy, realize the importance of designing the guest experience, and identify key factors that must be examined to ensure best service. Understand reasons of prioritizing guest satisfaction. Understand and develop organizational culture in the hospitality industry. Understand the customer relationship management. Strategic planning has been utilized extensively for developing tangible products rather than used in service-related industries like hospitality and tourism. With the marketing nature of tourism products and services, it is evident for establishments to draw their market toward services. Strategy plays a critical role. By utilizing strategies, a company is able to identify its competitors while satisfying the needs and wants of its guests. Strategic planning is the process of identifying a company's internal and external characteristics which will contribute to the attainment of its goal, pointing to a specific direction while formulating different policies on how best to achieve it. A restaurant, for example, to become one of the best in a certain area or region, should think of different strategies to be able to meet the requirements needed in a certain area as dictated by the market and the present situation it belongs. With strategic planning in mind, 3 elements make up its components. Firstly, the identification of long-term goals and objectives concerning the conceptualization of coherent and achievable strategic objectives. Secondly, the adoption of different courses of action should also be in place to assure that actions taken to arrive at objectives are already set. Lastly, the allotment of resources is also set in place. This means that there will be costs associated with the actions to be able to achieve the objectives. In order to be successful and to make a profit in the industry's competitive market, every organization needs a clear strategy. But how do establishments decide the best strategy for their businesses, may it be a spa, a restaurant, or a resort? The decision they make will affect every aspect of their company, so it is important to get it right. Porter's generic strategies can help a decision maker to make the best choice for his/her company. Michael Porter identifies 3 strategies in achieving competitive edge. These are cost leadership strategy, differentiation strategy, and focus strategy. Cost leadership strategy focuses on increasing profits by reducing operational costs and charging lower prices. To implement this strategy successfully, a company will need to invest in new technology and to have efficient logistics. A company must also make sure that its spending on items such as labor, materials, and facilities is kept low. It is essential that a company beats its competitors on costs, so it will need to continually monitor and reduce its costs. An example would be an economy-level hotel that charges low rates but has only basic amenities for a regular guest. Its room will typically have a standard bed, color television, air conditioning unit, and private bathroom. Wi-Fi connection is optional. The differentiation strategy focuses on making a company's service being attractive and unique in comparison to those of its competitors. For example, a company might specialize in a particular feature or unique service, be renowned for its excellent customer service, or have a highly valued brand image. It will need to be creative and innovative and be able to provide high-quality services for this strategy to work. Sales and marketing also play a vital role in this strategy's success, and a company will need to make sure to stay ahead in new trends in the industry. One best example would be a hotel utilizing green technology in its operations. This hotel can boast of adhering to the call on sustainability and environmental stewardship by integrating this concept in its day-to-day operations, such as the use of reclaimed wood, metal roofing, and steel grills of another reclaimed building, passive cooling through building orientation and insulation on metal roofing, as well as harvesting rain and groundwater for toilet flushing, plant irrigation, and general house cleaning. The focus strategy concentrates on developing services for niche market. Using this strategy requires a deep understanding of the customer's needs of a company. Its aim will be to meet these needs by providing that something special and extra that the customers cannot get anywhere else. A company will also need to decide whether to adopt cost leadership or differentiation. This is because the focus strategy is not normally enough to win substantial market share on its own. The first type of focus is on cost leadership or cost leadership in a narrow or focused market. An example would be the study hubs in the university belts. They have a very focused marketplace. They specifically target student guests that are looking for cheaper alternatives to hotel lounges wherein they could spend their time studying. They do not provide for everyone but only for students, that is why their price is relevantly low. The second type of focus is on differentiation in a narrow or focused market. An example would be a coffee shop which adapted the drive-through business model. It focuses on guests who do not really necessarily want to sit down and have a cup of coffee. The guests like the brand and offering but do not have the time to sit down and enjoy a cup of coffee. They have it on the move. Choosing the right strategy for an organization is crucial in gaining a competitive edge over its rivals. By using Porter's generic strategies model, an organization will be able to identify the strategy that it needs to lead the organization to success. Internal analysis is where an organization takes stock of the resources and assets that it possesses. These include the strengths that enable an organization to function well. Experts refer to this as the secret sauce of an organization. Moreover, internal analysis also flaunts the weaknesses of an organization. These weaknesses are identified not to dwell onto, but to be addressed and resolved so that they do not harm an organization. An airline company, through internal analysis, may find out that it needs to have a stronger passenger relationship management with its clients. By delving deeper, it found out that the problem was because it is not in the culture of the employees to establish a relationship with their passengers. Utilizing a strategy to develop relationship marketing in their operations, it enabled the entire company to combat this problem and convert the weakness into a strength. An external analysis, meanwhile, does not rely on the secret sauce. How a company positions itself in the market with respect to its rivals in its particular space is of primary concern. Attention should be focused on what a company is good at relative to its rivals in that industry. Doing external analysis not only determines a company's position in the external environment, but also showcases its opportunities and threats. Identifying a company's opportunities and threats, through different tools such as the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal, PESTEL, analysis, exhibits what it needs to be wary about which somehow are uncontrollable to a certain level. One best example is what happened in Boracay when it was closed for 6 months because of the environmental rehabilitation projects of the Philippine government. Many hotels and their respective employees and guests were affected by this situation. It is said that about 400 lodgings and food services were ordered to be closed for violating laws, 3 casinos were shut down, and other tourism establishments built within the 30-meter shoreline were demolished. The government predicted about P18-20 billion loss of potential gross receipts due to the 6-month closure. Quality customer service is an experience of feeling valued or heard. Sometimes it's an intangible component of why a guest may prefer one tourism or hospitality provider over another. There is something about quality customer service that you often can't put your finger on, but you know it's there. And it's a critical factor for tourism success, both as a means of satisfying ever-increasing customer expectations, and as a way to achieve business profitability. Guest satisfaction should be a top priority. You need to provide the guest experience that you promised, and in many cases, you will have to go above and beyond to impress your tourists or guests. If you are looking to improve service, you will want to consider some new and innovative ways of boosting your guest satisfaction ratings. Here are a few reasons why you should make your guest satisfaction ratings a top priority. Your guests can be your most powerful marketing tool, or your biggest detractors. If your guests have a good experience, they are going to share that on social media, as well as recommend your property to their friends and family members. If they have a negative experience, they are going to express their views through online reviews and go the extra mile to make sure people know about what happened. Guest satisfaction is a clear indication of your staff's ability to provide the experience that is expected. If your guest satisfaction ratings continue to decline, it's important to figure out what is causing the problem and how you can address it. A positive guest experience is one of the best ways to continue to build your brand. Your brand depends on consumer loyalty, which cannot be achieved without high guest satisfaction ratings. Recognizing the importance of guest satisfaction, it's important that you actively work to improve the guest experience at your property. These guidelines will help you provide every single guest who stays at your hotel with an amazing and memorable experience. Guideline number 1: the guest experience begins long before they arrive. Know that the guest experience begins long before they arrive at your front desk to check in for their stay. You should create a mobile-friendly website that offers visual appeal and social proof of the experience that they will enjoy at your establishment. Aim for fast site speeds and incorporate valuable content into every page of the site, while also adding Book Now buttons whenever possible. When a traveler connects with your brand online, they will immediately develop an opinion of your brand that will impact the ultimate experience that they have at your hotel. Guideline number 2: respond to guest feedback. Actively solicit and respond to guest feedback. When you accept and promote your online reviews, you are showing other travelers that you value the opinion of your guests and that you are willing to go the extra mile to deliver superior customer service. When you send out automated emails with guest satisfaction surveys, you are proving to your guests that you want more information about their stay and that you strive to exceed expectations at every turn. Guideline number 3: connect with your guests on a personal level. Connect with your guests on a personal level. This also begins before your guests arrive at the front desk. You can use social media to reach out to your guests prior to their stay, and learn a little bit more about them. Customized booking forms also help you gain insight about the people who will be staying at your hotel. While your guests are staying with you, be sure to add small touches and details that personalize the experience. Guests will remember those experiences for years to come, and they will significantly improve their overall opinion of your property. Guideline number 4: use guest feedback to make future decisions. Use guest feedback and relevant data to guide future decisions at your property. When you monitor your guest feedback and respond to it accordingly, it's important that you take note of what improvements you could make in the future based on those responses. You also can use booking data and marketing data to finalize decisions for upgrading amenities, creating events, designing promotions, and more. Not only will this help you make the best decisions and use your resources wisely, but it will show your past, present and future guests that you genuinely value their input. Defining and measuring organizational culture is important. because a strong organizational culture could potentially yield sustainable competitive advantages to organizations. However, creating a strong organizational culture is often challenging due to the ambiguity surrounding this concept. Wherever people live and work together, culture develops. Organizational culture refers to the beliefs, values, and attitudes that define a company. Like cultures elsewhere, organizational culture develops spontaneously, whether or not it's nurtured. Since staff serve people, your customers get a taste of what your business is really like every time the two interact. Hire and train with care. Culture is less about policy and more about people, especially in the service-oriented business. To create the culture you want, it's important to define your mission and values. The crucial second step is finding people committed to these principles and your concept of a service culture. For example, if you want to run a bed and breakfast that sets the bar for the service culture in the hotel industry, you should quiz candidates about their capacity for attention to detail. Once you have employees in place, nurture the positive qualities you're looking for, being sure to lead by example. Foster commitment. When you hire people who fit well with your culture, you're more likely to secure a long-term commitment from them. But there's more you can do to engage people with the mission of your organization. If your company believes in continuous service improvement, for example, then inspire them by practicing continuous improvement at all levels of the organization. Invest in developing employee skill sets by sending employees to conferences and continuing education courses. If you expect employees to deliver a certain experience to customers, you need to make that experience a reality throughout the company. Staff members should literally feel the culture you talk about. Develop a story. All cultures have great stories, and your business should have one, too. Writing a history of where your company came from and where it's going can make your employees feel as if they're part of something important. It can also help your customers understand where your values come from. Think about why you started your business in the first place. Maybe you thought that fine dining was too expensive in your city, so you aimed to start a business offering delicious food without pretentiousness. This easygoing attitude is something your servers can embody, but they're more likely to personify your vision if they understand the restaurant's origins. Bring your story to life. Managing your culture for success is more about a feeling you create than putting specific programs in place. Start with your concept of a service culture. Then brainstorm how to make it real. Your plan may or may not include employee perks such as free daycare and bonuses. Decide what values are most important to you. Then make plans that let your employees actually live them.